Hello everyone, and welcome to the Primitive Review. Creature's a mod that will transport us to an experience. Prehistoric version of Minecraft. With the first ancestors of the creatures that exist today. They inhabit our world. So if you want to learn about all these new variations, primitive and much more dangerous, stay. We're about to begin. First of all, this mod is called Primitive Creatures, a project that will transport us to a much more primitive era.
Era una época simple, con placeres simples. Tus ropas siempre combinaban. Podías dibujar en las paredes y nadie te regañaba. Era mucho más fácil darle a una pelota de béisbol.
Were some of the Minecraft mobs. They were still taking their first steps before converting and taking the appearance that we all know today. And of course, taking a lot of inspiration in another well-known mod called Minecraft. He mentioned this in case they noticed some kind of reference. First, let's begin with all the new variants of the Illagers, all having the peculiarity of having a forehead larger than their original versions, clearly emulating the appearance of a caveman. First, we will have the Inhabitant, being the most basic variant of all, attacking with his rock axe with great speed, and having the characteristic to swing at the moment, to move. Upon being defeated, he will be able to leave us from threads of careless wool, fragments of idol, the brown idol, the prehistoric idol, and the lion man idol. Then we'll have the vagabond, being the complete opposite of the previous one. And while it will do less harm with its stone dagger, your attacks will be much faster. Now, increasing the level of danger, we'll have the Bone Breaker variant, armored with an armor of bones, which will make it more resistant, in addition to having with superhuman strength, capable of sending us flying with a single blow. If we defeat him, he will leave us any of the totems, primitive bones, the skeleton head, and the rib blacksmithing mold. Continuing, we will have the Stalker and Illager, primitive dress with plants for better camouflage, having the terrible ability to launch us poison darts that will quickly decline in our lives. Defeating him will allow him to drop primitive totems, spider eyes, cobwebs, and green dye. Then we'll have the Hunter, being a variant of the Stalker, much more dangerous because instead of launching ourselves poisonous projectiles, these somehow will have the wither effect too.
No pienso que sea por la magia del cine.
Furthermore, if it were to receive any kind of attack, it will automatically become invisible. Defeating him will allow him to drop primitive totems, rotten meat, charcoal, and sugar. The next one will be the Shaman, one of the highest ranking primitive rows, and the Magnet of the Fire Charge. Well, one day, while he was investigating the creepers, he extracted some of his gunpowder, thus creating these powerful projectiles.
Y por lejos, el hombre más inteligente del que se tenga conocimiento.
Defeating him will cause him to drop the primitive totems, careless wool, gunpowder, and primitive explosives. The next variant we will see is the Herbalist, an expert on primitive plants, who found a way to bring dangerous creatures. With the help of these beasts, they will be a much more variant, terrifying, and aggressive of the Ravagers. Even with such tough skin, that will be able to repel arrows. If we defeat the beasts, they will leave us with bones, gray dye, rotten meat, and the goat's horn. Now, back to the Herbalist. It will not have the ability to attack, only by summoning these dangerous beasts. So, if you're fast enough, should not represent a danger to great. If we defeat him, he will leave us primitive totems, sloppy wool, bricks, and rabbit's feet. Next up, we have the Animal Hunter, one of the most dangerous primitive Illagers. It can quickly finish you off if you're not careful. Possessing enormous strength, each hit will give you a bone-crushing effect, drastically reducing your speed and preventing you from jumping. Defeating him will allow him to drop primitive totems, chicken eggs, turtle scales, frog eggs in the paternal club. Now, you already thought the animal hunter was dangerous. This will have an even more lethal and powerful variant.
¡No!
The berserker will be highly aggressive, possessing enormous strength and speed, in addition to giving you the bone-breaking and levitation effect. If we defeat him, he will leave us the primal totem, leather charcoal blue dye, primitive scissor frog eggs, and the reinforced flint club. Next up, we have the lead hunter, only being able to appear, accompanied by other primitive illagers, in order to hunt other players. But if we focus only in their own skills, it won't do much, being practically the same that a Hyler inhabitant, except for what this will be leaving us. Well, if we manage to defeat the hunter, the leader will be leaving us pieces of wool totem, careless primitive scissors the flint club, and of course the ominous improvement. Now, moving on to the big leagues, let's talk about idolatry, a supernatural force, which can only be summoned with a terrible idol. This will be able to generate it around any of the above primitive illagers, acting as a sort of mini-boss of the mod. And it's very difficult to keep up with him, flying away if it is attacked. If we manage to defeat him, he will leave us from music albums, resonant fragments, and all the totems we have in the game, including the totem of immortality. And watch out, while we have already finished with all the variants of leaders, we would still have a few more creatures left. One of them is one of my favorites, the mercenary, one of the first variants of the modern villager, being aggressive in the presence of players. But we will be able to get there to hire him if we give him one of the primitive totems, making it protect us from any kind of danger. But be careful, because they won't be invincible.
¡Ah, qué chafes!
That's what we'll have with the Kaolin Clay, a variant of the blaze composed mostly of clay. As well as its nether counterpart, he will be able to launch the clay projectiles, which will give us the weakness effect too. By defeating him, it will leave us with a large amount of clay and dye, pink graphite glaze. It will be a small stone golem that will be aggressive and cowardly. At the same time, if we manage to hit him, he'll run away, but returning again when he gets over his fear.
¿Dónde está tu honor, basura? Eres una completa vergüenza.
If we defeat him, this will give us charcoal and blue dye. And as always, we've saved the best for last. Well, if you already thought the Warden, it is terrifying and an unstoppable force. In modern times, it's because you didn't know its prehistoric version, the Warden muscle.
¿Espera qué?
Yes, curiously, the skull. Previously, millions of years ago it arose from muscles. Unlike now, the Warden, modern will not need from a skulk squealer, because this can be generated from a powerful electrical storm. The differences of the Warden, the modern version and the prehistoric counterpart will be remarkable. The main one will be their speed in fighting players, because only by being close to us will be enough to detect us. Nor will it have its attack, sonic at a distance, but he will be immune, with projectiles. Also too, attacking us will give us the effect of darkness and break bones, but what we will have in our favor is, the thing is, this one won't last very long, as its modern version, having the possibility of a fair fight. If we defeat him, he will drop totem fragments, variants of sculpt frog eggs, clay, and the broken record in summary. Those would be all the creatures added by this mod. But as you may have noticed throughout this, we'll have a lot of new primitive artifacts. Let's start with primitive scissors. They will be exactly the same as regular scissors, only the club will have a shorter lifespan. Primitive will be a weapon that will count, with 0.1 damage, but with the bone breaker effect, its improvement. Reinforced, it will slightly increase its speed and damage. 0 points of damage. Primitive explosives. They will be charged projectiles, acronyms that we can launch with a right click then. We will have both the idol, brown like the lion man's, which at least, from what I can find out, they won't be very useful, beyond acting as a bargaining chip for them. Primitive villagers. The idol of friendship us, will allow generating a law as if it were a normal generation egg. The primitive idol will be an ingredient for creation of the terrible idol, and which in turn, it may be used to invoke the idolater. But if you prefer, skip the whole fight thing with this. You can simply use it to create the totem of immortality. And well, as you could see, this is a fairly simple project, but without a doubt, it is undoubtedly an excellent complement to a world with a prehistoric theme. Well, all these creatures now, they will populate our world naturally, with the exception of a few small cases. But tell me, which of all creatures views in this video was your favorite? What other prehistoric variant you would like to see in this? The mod also commented to me what other kind of mods you'd like to see next. I'll be reading you in the comments. Well guys, I hope you liked it. I hope you had fun. That's the most important thing for me. If you liked the video, please leave a comment, like this video, and let me know what you thought of it. What other types of videos would you like to see on the channel? And also subscribe. That's very important. Remember that dinosaurs hate spicy food. See you in the next video. Bye.